In this video, we will learn how to calculate consumer surplus and producer surplus with an example. The question is given demand and supply function is P is equal to 18 minus 2Q minus Q square. This is the demand function. P is the price and Q is the quantity. Supply function is also being given as is that P is equal to 2Q minus 3. We need to calculate the consumer surplus and producer surplus. Okay. So first thing is we know that at equilibrium demand should be equal to supply. Okay, so this is our demand function, this is our supply function. We equate these two equations. That means 18 minus 2q minus q square is equal to 2q minus 3. Okay, so first we equate demand and supply functions for equilibrium. Okay, graphically what exactly is meant by this? Let me try to draw a simple graph here. So let us say we have quantity on the horizontal axis, price on the vertical axis. We have this demand function. Okay, it is a non-linear one, and let me try to draw this. Let us say this is our demand function. Okay, and we have also the supply function. Let us say upward sloping supply function. This is demand function and this is supply function. So at equilibrium, first we need to find out the equilibrium price and quantity. For that we equate these two functions. So let us solve this first here. So we have, if I transpose these terms here, so minus q square will become plus q square. Then we have plus 2q minus 18. Okay, then we have plus 2q minus 3. Okay, so I am just transposing all these terms to LHS, so they will change their signs, and we set it equal to 0. That gives us q square 2 plus 2. Then they are since these are the like terms, we can add them up. So this becomes 4q minus 18 and minus 3 is minus 21, which is equal to 0. Okay, so since it's a quadratic function, we need to solve this. Okay, we need to separate the middle term. Here we can do this. So we should get the sum of two numbers such that their addition is equal to 4, and product of the same two numbers should be equal to this constant term minus 21. Okay, so we can guess here. If I write here 7 and minus 3, here also 7 into minus 3, this is being satisfied by these two numbers. So I can rewrite this q square in place of 4q. I will write then 7q and minus 3q, and in place of minus 21 I will write 7 into minus 3, and we set it equal to 0. Let us now take the common factors out. So here we can take common q. So here we will be left with q plus 7 in the first two terms. Here we take minus 3 as common, and we will be left with q plus 7, and we equate it to 0. Okay, now let's take q plus 7 as common. Then we are left with q minus 3, and we set it equal to 0. Okay, it means either q plus 7 is equal to 0 or q minus 3 is equal to 0. If this is the case, which implies q is equal to minus 7, if I transpose this plus 7 to RHS, it will become a negative number. Similarly, if q minus 3 is equal to 0, it implies q is equal to plus 3. Obviously quantity cannot be negative. Okay, so we discard this q is equal to minus 7. Okay, I have not you know drawn the demand function, rather I have drawn it properly, I guess. So it will look like this, I guess, but we are not interested in the negative value of quantity. Okay, so q is equal to minus 7 is not feasible because quantity cannot be negative. That means q will be equal to 3. Okay, so let us say it is here, this is 3. Corresponding to this, we need to find out the price. Okay, so we got q, when we solve this we got q is equal to 3. To find out the equilibrium price, simply plug Q is equal to 3 either in demand or supply function. Let us take it into the supply function. That gives us P will be equal to 2 in place of Q. I will write the equilibrium quantity, which is 3. To this we subtract by 3. That gives us 2 3s are 6 minus 3 is 3. So equilibrium price is also 3. And let us say this is here 3. Okay. Now let me rub this out. Now what we need to calculate now, also we need to find out P into Q. Okay, P into Q denotes the total expenditure if we want to find out the consumer surplus. So P into Q will be equal to 3 into 3, which is equal to 9. Okay, so let's remember this. Now the consumer surplus is given by, okay, so consumer surplus is given by the definite integral from 0 to equilibrium quantity and P dq. Okay, we take the definite integral from 0 to equilibrium quantity and integrate the demand function. Okay, and then we subtract from this the total expenditure, that is P into Q. Consumer surplus is simply the difference between the price that a consumer is willing to pay and the price he actually pays, okay, for the product. So this denotes the willingness to pay. Sorry, let me repeat it here. Consumer surplus is the difference between the price that the consumer is willing to pay minus the price he actually pays. The price he actually pays is this 3. Okay, so consumer surplus on graph is simply the area of this very what we call, I will not say the triangular region here, because we have a non-linear demand function. So let me show it here. Consumer surplus is the area which is above the equilibrium price and below the demand curve. That means this area will be our consumer surplus. Okay, so this is the formula for calculating consumer surplus. Now let's plug the values here. So we have 0 to equilibrium quantity is 3. Then we need to differentiate demand function, that is 18 minus 2Q minus Q square with respect to Q, and from this we need to subtract the total expenditure, that is P into Q. So let's do the calculation. So the integral of 18 is 18Q minus 2, the integral of Q is Q square divided by 2, and the integral of Q square is Q cube divided by 3. Simple thing, if we have Q raised power n, its integral is simply Q raised power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. Okay, we add the exponent by 1 and divide by the resulting exponent. Okay, so if we have Q raised power 7, it will be Q raised power 7 plus 1 divided by 7 plus 1, which is Q raised power 8 upon 8. Okay, simple thing we have done here. Now we evaluated from the lower limit, which is 0, to upper limit, which is 3. From this we subtract the total expenditure, that is P into Q. P into Q we calculated as 9. Now let's plug the value of Q is equal to 3. First we evaluate it at the upper limit, then we subtract and evaluate these terms at lower limit. That means first what will we write? We have 18. In place of Q we write 3 minus this 2 and 2 will get cancelled. So in place of Q we have 3 square minus here in place of Q again we have 3. So this is 3 cube divided by 3. Then we subtract and evaluate it a lower limit. And if we subtract it at lower limit, all these terms will vanish out, because in place of Q we will have 0. 18 into 0 will be 0. This will also be 0 and this will be also 0. We will not evaluate at the lower limit. Okay, from this we subtract P into Q, which we got equal to 9. When we solve this, okay, so this will become, this is 54 minus this is 9, this is 27 divided by 3 minus 9. Okay, this is also 9. Now we have 54 minus 9 and 9, this is minus 27, so we will get 27 is consumer surplus. Okay, so we got consumer surplus is 27. What about producer surplus? Producer surplus is the price that a seller, producer surplus is the difference between the price that a seller is willing to sell its product for and the price he actually receives. Okay, so actual price is 3 and sellers will be willing to pay to sell their product at lower prices also at this price, this. Okay, so the difference between this price and all these prices below the equilibrium price denotes the producer surplus. So graphically it is simply the area which is below the equilibrium price and above the supply curve. Okay, so this denotes the producer surplus, this area. And to calculate it, producer surplus is simply equal to the total revenue, that is P into Q, minus the definite integral from 0 to equilibrium quantity, that is 3, and we integrate the supply function, that is P uh, Ps with respect to Q. Okay, so P into Q is 9, we calculated it, minus 0 to equilibrium quantity which is 3, and the integral of 2Q minus 3 with respect to Q. Okay, simple thing. So we will get a 9 minus, let's evaluate this. So integral of 2Q will be 2Q square divided by 2 minus integral of 3 is 3Q. Okay, and we evaluated from lower limit to upper limit. Okay, so we have 9 minus 2 and 2 will get cancelled. Let us first evaluate it at upper limit. So we will get, in place of Q square we will have 3 square, so we will have 3 square minus uh, 3, in place of Q we have 3. So let us see what we get. So we have 9 minus 3 3s are 9. Here we will have, this term will become negative, but minus into minus is plus, it will become positive here. So we will get plus 3 3s are 9. Then we subtract and evaluate it at lower limit, since we have Q's in each term, so lower limit will vanish. So we will get the producer surplus equal to 9. Okay, I hope I make myself clear in this video. Thank you.